This is a special Waupaca City Council meeting.
From matters discussed in closed session. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? Motion carried. Thank you, Eric. Waiting for Josh to make sure we're on back live. We're good to go? Okay. We're back in open session. It is 6:47 p.m. We have three items that we would like to discuss in open session tonight. The first one is actually dealing with the revised job description for the city administrator for the city of Waupaca, and we're going to have Russ lead us through that if he would.
Okay, so on the job description that's presented to City Council, scope of the work really hasn't changed since your previous description. The changes really came in the essential job functions. So the first thing is, monitors and directs staff, works with council, makes sure that your plans are met and establish work procedure, coordinates, participates in the hiring process, provides training and feedback on employee performance. The second item is talking about strategic planning, long-range planning for the organization, participates in meetings, performs research, and answers questions and prepare documents for the agenda. The agenda is really now set by the city clerk. Performs duties to implement policies. This is on page 3 that are set up by the council. Establishes and initiates procedures. Participates economic and industrial development activities. That's been moved up a little bit higher. Coordinate the preparation of agendas with staff. Provides oversight and personnel, makes sure proper staffing and fairness and productive employee relationships, recommends to the council the appointment, promotion, suspension, termination of department heads, does the actual appointment, promotion, suspension, termination of other non-statutory employees in consultation with the appropriate department heads, coordinates with the finance director and treasurer for the preparation of the annual budget and capital improvement plan, works with the finance director to ensure proper controls are in place, provides oversight for media programs and the rest of the activities there. So I'm not sure if there's any specific questions about the scope, but the essential functions did get shifted and modified, and most of the changes were in that section.
Good.
Any questions on the job description?
Anybody would like to make a motion?
I'll move that we approve the job description
I'll
as
second.
presented.
Motion by Keelan, second by Martin, that we approve of the changes to the city administrator position. Any further discussion? Sandy, call the roll.
Steve Hackett,
Aye.
Lori Chestnut,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Alan Keeland,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Mary Fair,
Aye.
and Eric Olson.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, next up on our agenda then is to discuss the appointment of Aaron Jensen as our new city administrator. And Russ, you have some comments you'd like to make in open session about that?
Not really. I think we went through a hiring process that involved an oral interview, reviewed the candidate's background and experiences. We went through and completed a background investigation and believe that Aaron Jensen is a good fit to be part of the management team for the city of Waupaca and is qualified to be your next city administrator.
Awesome. And just as a reminder, because Sandy reminded me, This takes a 2/3 majority vote. There are actually 11 of us that are voting for the city administrator, so we would need to be on the affirmative side or the negative side. You would need 8 votes. Okay? So with that said, would anybody like to I would entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to move that we appoint Aaron Jensen as city administrator.
Second.
We have a motion by Paul Mayo, second by Eric Olson, that we appoint Aaron Jensen as city administrator effective September 1st of 2019. Any discussion?
Yes. I would like to say that despite Aaron's lack of experience serving as a city administrator, that I find him a person of exceptional character. And I've found, having served on the school board, Aaron has done a terrific job in the school district. And I agree with many other council members that he's done a fantastic job over at the Department of Parks and Recs. However, I cannot support his hiring due to problems in the hiring process, and there are 4 of them that I'd like to share. One is that on the council meeting of July 16th, the mayor misrepresented to the council that only he can appoint the candidate and that our role was strictly to confirm. And ordinance 1.12 sub 2 clearly states otherwise. He does have that authority with ordinance 1.02 for different positions. The second problem is that an executive search firm was not hired to pool the most qualified candidates from across the state or the country. 3, only 3 applications were received, including Aaron Jensen's. And the 4th problem I have with the process is that only Aaron's application was presented to the council before we were asked to make this decision. And so I'm going to vote no in a bit, but I just want Aaron to know I do think very highly of him. And despite my no vote, I'm sure you'll get elected, and I'm sure you'll do a great job.
Any other comments?
I have one, Mayor.
Scott.
Before Aaron left our city, and he was contemplating his last move to the school district, I went to his office and tried very hard to talk him into staying because I knew what we had and what a great job he had done for the Park and Rec. And so I am overjoyed that we can hire him back to help really lead in the city from the top. He's perfect for the job, and we should feel lucky that we can have him as our candidate.
Any other comments? Lori?
I'm just going to say that I'm glad that Aaron is our child, the one that we were looking at in the vision and the mission. He is our child that we want to remain here and to help the community grow, who's been involved in it in many different ways and done very well. Who's, like I said, he's not only vested, he's invested. So thank you for considering us.
Anybody else? Any other comments? All right, Sandy will call the roll.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Mary Fair,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
No.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Alan Keeland,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Lori Chestnut,
Aye.
Steve Hackett,
Aye.
and Brian Smith.
I get to vote. Aye.
10 ayes, 1 no, motion carried.
All right, Aaron, congratulations. Since we were discussing it in private before, maybe you could just make a brief statement. I don't know that I asked you to prepare something, but we are live on TV and I think also on radio too. I'm not sure, but if you could.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Smith and council. I'm extremely excited for this opportunity. Grateful to have the opportunity to work with the great department heads we have and the council members that we have, and obviously Mayor Smith. Looking forward to getting started. Obviously, it's unique where I know exactly really the situation I'm getting into because I was here for 7 years in 2 different capacities, and I'm thrilled to be back with the organization. Absolutely enjoyed my time with the school district. 16 months there I worked with a lot of awesome professionals, great professionals that I hope to continue to have a good relationship with in this position. And not to be too long-winded, I'm just excited to get started and work with all of you. So thank you.
Great, awesome. Again, I think he deserves a nice Aaron, if you want to just stay there just for a second then. Then the third thing that we were talking about tonight, and remember that this takes effect, his appointment takes effect September 1st, although hopefully we'll get him in here a little bit sooner and get him going on some things. I know Kathy will be happy to be in that position. But we have the employment contract that and this is unusual, obviously. He's the only position that we have in the city that actually has an employment agreement, okay? And so, Russ, I don't know if you can just touch the high points, and Aaron, if you could just, once you listen to Russ, if you could just verify that you're okay with those items or not as we go through the process.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
I'll just touch on the high points. I think council members and the public would want to know that the compensation to start is $84,000, again, starting September 1st. The contract does call for performance evaluations to be held in January and annually thereafter. It's an open-ended contract that has terms and conditions for termination. I don't think it's appropriate to go through that at this point in time. From a benefit standpoint, he's eligible for health insurance just like any other city employee. He will be placed in the vacation schedule considering his prior years of experience with the city of Waupaca. That will be prorated. He will receive an automobile expense of $225 a month, which is comparable to some other department heads, not all, and has the option of either using his personal cell phone or taking on a city cell phone. The city is willing to pay for dues and subscriptions, especially in the professional organizations of ICMA and Wisconsin City County Management Association. The council expects the administrator to be involved in community events and participate in one civic organization that the city will pay for. There's 2 escalator clauses in his compensation. One is completion of the Masters of Public Administration program from UW-Oshkosh by the end of December of 2020. And a compensation adjustment would be made either upon completion of that program or 1 year, whatever takes the longest. And then also a compensation adjustment and the expectation that Aaron and the administrator shall complete and apply for the ICMA credentialing program and would have a compensation adjustment for that. Rest of the contract is kind of standard language. And if council is comfortable, I think the mayor would entertain a motion to approve the employment contract if you so desired.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Hackett, second by Keelan, that we approve of the employment agreement between the city of Waupaca and Aaron Jensen, our new city administrator. And I would ask, Aaron, that you've had an opportunity to look this over, and you haven't signed it yet, but are you okay with?
Yes, I am good with everything outlined there.
Okay. Awesome. Any other discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Alan Keeland,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Dave Peterson.
Aye.
Steve Hackett.
Aye.
Lori Chestnut.
Aye.
Paul Mayo.
Aye.
Mary Fair.
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky.
Aye.
And Brian Smith.
Aye.
11 ayes, motion carried.
All right, I think that's actually it for tonight's meeting. So I'd be entertaining a motion to adjourn. Motion by Hagan, second by Keelan, that we adjourn until our next regular scheduled meeting, which is next Tuesday, August 20th at 6 PM, subject to call. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Have a great night. Safe drive.
Thank you.
Don't forget the handout needs to be passed.